Africa, a land of growth, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story,
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
and every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. At Some TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us.
To the future we proudly define.
Some TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Some TV, cause of the nation. Africa. Yes, good morning and welcome to the Sun TV morning show. My name is Abraham Minor Joda. Today is the 31st day of the month of December, the year 2025. This is the last day of the calendar for 2025. This is the day that connects us with the month, the year 2026. This is the day that all over the world, where they observe this calendar, there is a kind of ritual that people do, which is a crossover, where we cross over from the old year to the new year. And this is the day that I believe we're going to cross into greatness in Nigeria. Once again, you're welcome to the Some TV morning show. And today, with me on the show, two great gentlemen whom we've been together all through the year to an extent. And now, together, we're going to end the year peacefully and with happiness. On my right is the Director of News and Public Affairs on Some TV, Mr. Iradane Kukwe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're welcome to the morning show.
Thank you very much.
And on my left is Mr. Albert Naphtali Bello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You're welcome to the morning show. Now, talking about the last day of the year, the 31st, there is this thing that we do, not only in Nigeria, but in many places, a crossover to New Year. And a lot of people have attach a lot of spirituality, belief, some point superstition to the fact that you're crossing to a new year is a special day that you cross into a new year. I would like to ask, is there anything really, apart from the fact that you believe it is there any difference between today and tomorrow?
Well, most Nigerians are spiritual people that have this leaning towards a particular spiritual belief, this or that. So I personally maybe because of my background and because of what I've been able to know in life, I understand that there is no difference between 31st December and 1st January 2026. Actually, it's the same day, it's the same hours, the same minutes. But there is this general belief, culture, it has become culture, it has become deep-seated. So much so that whether you like it or not, you have to behave as if it is actually, there is a particular boundary by 12 p.m., there is this particular boundary that you have to cross over. Well, the truth is that because it is culture and it's because it's one of the things we do it, we join the bandwagon, not as if it actually has any particular difference like that.
Okay. Naphtali, your view on this?
Yeah. Thank God you mentioned that is a view of mine, and particularly as a spiritual person, a religious person. I believe there's a difference between each minute, talk more of a day, and then a difference is in a year. There are geographically and some other, we don't have it is the same. But in a spiritual perspective, when you look at it, and many other perspectives that time will not permit me to go into on personal ground, there's a huge difference to me particularly. So I felt crossing over to another year as a Christian means a lot spiritually wise, and it means there are a lot of things there's a reshuffling even on an ordinary ground from the thinking of human as the mindset, and also the other way around. And then again, on the side of the spirituality, it is more of a year, a day of reflection, to look at what you've done within the year and what you are expecting to happen the next. So to every Christian or a religious person, there's a belief system which we work with faith as a religious people. So you're entering into the next year means there is a new formation. There's a new change. It's more of a new door that you're shifting to.
Okay, now let me just do a little research here. The Gregorian calendar started being used in October 1582, and it was first started by Pope Gregory the VIII, and it was first adopted with Catholic countries like Italy, Spain, Portugal, and France. Then after some time, Protestants adopted it, removing 11 days. And over time became international standard for civil purposes through some distance. So what this tells us that even our Lord Jesus Christ or the prophets or the apostles, they never observed this. They never even had this. Then again, to the word January. The January names come from Janus, the Roman god of beginnings, doorways, and transitions. It is a god with, I think it has two faces. One at the back, one in front. So January 1st, Janus, is the god is celebrated because we've seen into the old year and the new year. So it was its two faces looking to the past and the future, perfectly symbolizing the start of a new year. A concept solidified when Pope Gregory the VIII established January 1, the day that Janus is being celebrated as the New Year's Day in Gregorian calendar. It was added to the earlier Roman calendar by King Numa, Pompilius, and later formalized as the first month. So even history here shows us that the day Janus, 1st of January, is dedicated to the Roman god Janus. So that is what I'm trying to say. It is not a scriptural thing, but you may spiritualize it and align it. But when you talk about the scriptures, January 1st has nothing to do with scriptures. They have something to do with our belief system. So we shouldn't feel left out scripturally as a Christian if you don't go for crossover services.
Feel
bad, or they make you feel that you've not crossed over into a new this, you've not done that. They give you a new sticker for the year and the rest of it. Don't feel left out. All the disciples, all the apostles, all the prophets, none observed it, and they lived a good life that is still be remembered. So that is just my message. It's a good one. It's a day that you can help build your spirituality, but it doesn't change.
I agree with you, and I want to say that what you're supposed to do spiritually on the 31st, that looks like crossover. If you don't do it on the 31st and you decide to do it on the 2nd, it will still give you the same spiritual vibration, the same spiritual meaning, the same spiritual benefits. You understand?
Yeah.
I think you don't have to
specific.
Yes, you know there's this way that it has become some mystics, some spiritualized thing that has to be on the 31st. Then by 12, when it is 12:01 or 12:02, then you say you've crossed over to the new year. You make some prophetic utterances and other things like that. At times, it just helps to build your psyche as a human being. It does not really have that spiritual vibration that we always want to use. For instance, just like I said earlier, if you decide not to do crossover on the 31st and decide to do your crossover on 11th of January or the 12th of January or the 13th of February, you will still do the same fasting, do the same exercises, stay all night and pray. The same spiritual energy that will be as a benefit of what you will have done on the 31st will still be your benefit. That is why.
And again, I want to also add up to what the director was saying. And we said something yesterday that this whole thing is more of a, it shouldn't be like there's a specific time for you to realign or to make some changes in your life that has to do with your spirituality. And it's more of a, every day as a religious person, it is a time for you to re-amend your ways because you never knew the hours on a Christian basis.
Yeah.
And so many people are beginning to be good only on the first, and then the next day they go back to their former habit. Some, it will shock you to know that if you have experience of going to churches today, you will see people coming that I am this, but from today I will stop this and that. But it will not reach up to, just like the instances we were making yesterday, that somebody wants to exercise his body. But immediately he makes some trials, the thing goes the other way around. So we've been recording a lot of things. So we are saying this to whoever is listening, like more importantly, the Christians that celebrate the most. This whole thing is more of a, if really what you're doing is crossover, that means you're crossing over from your bad attitude to good one.
Very good.
So that particular attitude that you're doing should not wait for you till the first of a particular year for you to make some changes. It should be a constant thing as a believer, so that whenever your days are cut short, you know where you are going to. So, and I know there are people that already prepared their mind, that have been doing this particular kind of attitude this year 2025. I don't want to they nickname it that I don't want to go with it to the next year, which is actually geographically it has no any difference because the hours, the time, the minutes are all same. So you change at any time, just as you mentioned. It is a constant thing. You shouldn't wait for a particular day for it to take effect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think now let us just take that decision to cross over to the newspapers right away. We don't have to wait for the top of the hour. Let's go to the Guardian. And the Guardian, yes, the major story is cooking gas. Over 20 million households stick to firewood, charcoal over affordability. They say 20 million households still rely on firewood and charcoal. 1.5 million households switch to LPG in 10 years. Some now reverting. LPG use during the year, 250 metric ton in 2014 to 1.5 million metric ton in 2024. Then the target is 5 to 6 million metric ton per year, shifted to 2030. Per capita LPG use 7 kg per year. A global average is 25 to 30 kg. Over 20 million Nigerian households continues to rely on firewood and charcoal for cooking, despite a decade of policy push, rising domestic LPG production, and over $500 million in private investment as affordability, constraint, and weak last-mile distribution stall the country's clean cooking transition. Although more than 1.5 million households have switched from kerosene and biomass to liquefied petroleum gas in the last 10 years, some consumers yesterday told the Guardian that they have returned to charcoal amidst worsening deforestation and extreme weather in Nigeria. Industry player also insisted that progress remained far too slow for a country with one of the world's largest gas endowments, while LPG consumption has risen from about 250,000 metric tons in 2014 to roughly 1.5 million tons in 2024. So, and the federal government long-standing target of between 5 to 6 million tons per year remains a mirage, has now been moved to 2030. So that is the story of the usage of charcoal LPG in the period being looked at. And if you ask me, there was a time that between 2013, 2014, thereabout, a lot of people start switching to cylinder gas. It came cheap, I think 4,000 naira for the cylinder, and you fill it up with maybe 2,000 naira, and people started switching gradually from kerosene stove, firewood, but at the point, the prices went off and people reverted, especially 2024. A lot of people reverted back to charcoal. So although there is a massive improvement in the years in this thing, but we are not moving at the rate that we're supposed to be, especially with the issue on weather, climate change. What's your take on this?
Yes, government will need to do more on making it available and affordable. Because I think the reason why people are reverting back to the charcoal and use of firewood, which is detrimental to the conservation of our universe, is as a result of the fact that it becomes unaffordable. It becomes too expensive. With 70,000 naira minimum wage, you may not be able to use gas for all your energy needs at home. By the time you use hot water, you cook food, you do all your energy needs with gas, you will discover that you will spend lots of money. And firewood is around. You can just go to the nearby. I saw someone somewhere last year cut down a tree in his compound just for the purpose of firewood. So you see how that tree has been there, I believe, for maybe more than 20 years. But somehow one day he decided to cut it down. At least he said that tree will be able to take care of his firewood needs, his energy need for at least 6 to 7 months, which is economically beneficial to him. But little did he know that what he has done may be one of the reasons why we're getting flooding and other...
Did you replace the tree? Did you plant it out in the fresh one?
Well, I don't know whether he did that. Then I know somebody too who cut down some trees in his farm, but decided to plant similar number of trees in another place.
In another place, yes. At least that.
So at least that is good for it. So I think the whole thing is about government policy. Government will need to see to it that they will pursue this issue of climate change and the conservation of the universe by making it more affordable for many Nigerians, shift it from 20 million to we have a population of over 300 million. So we look forward to everyone in this country using gas that is clean cooking gas that is going to conserve the economy, the environment.
Naphtali?
All right, let me look at it in two different ways. I want to, first of all, advise the government in terms of the usage of gas. Particularly, we have a lot of people in the society that have little knowledge about how this thing is used. And it will shock you that during my university days, I met one guy in the university who is afraid to use gas because of the orientation he has about the whole thing. And so he was told that whenever you use gas and you are not able to do this thing, you're going to burn yourself and all this comes in. So he, on his own part, there are availability because he has one, but he is not able to use it because of the fear he has for it. So orientation should come in. And then another one is the government are key players in this and the actualizing of this dream. Because one, if they make the environment to be a level environment that people will have it at affordable price, and also it will be very easy for everybody to change from that. And we've seen, importantly, Taraba State, where people are asked not to cut some trees, and some people are even those doing charcoal businesses were caught and any of that.
Yes.
So, if the essence of doing all this is for them to get available means to cook their food. So, if the government will make it affordable and accessible, so it will be very, very easy for people to adapt to. So, the policy of the government about it and the price at a time is really, really, really contributing to the whole the stuff. So we expect the voices will be heard, and then things will go in the way it is expected. Then we will see some changes. But so far so good. We've seen a lot of increase on the usage of gas.
Like myself, I've tried so many times to switch to charcoal, but it's just not working for us. If we buy the charcoal after 2 or 3 days of stressing, blowing, we just decide whatever the case, let's just go back to the gas. And there was a point sometime last year that there was so much pressure on charcoal distribution. It became so a bag of charcoal came to as much as 13,000. It became even cheaper than to use gas.
Yes.
And there was a point that a bag of charcoal went for as far as. Then later, it came down and then sold for 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So that is just it. So there's a need to balance this. People must cook.
Yeah.
And the cost of gas cylinder is high. I think the last time I bought a liter is about 1,250 naira for a liter. And for those that have family that the weather needs to boil water, need to warm this food, need to cook this, it is not easy. But sometimes if you know how to manage the gas, you find out that it's almost the same. I've checked it a lot of time, especially now that the charcoal is very dry. You light it up, in few minutes,
It burned off.
it burns off. It burns off. I've done this thing. There's a period that they sell some charcoals, it burns off easily. But you may buy in small quantities, so you wouldn't know that and then the mindset. So what we need to do is to ensure that the prices of this thing come down. Because I'm telling you, if the price of gas does not come down, people will always find an alternative. And the alternative is
Charcoal.
And if I have a tree in my house and I cut it down, I don't think it's deforestation.
Yeah.
But I can decide to say I've planted 2 more. Just look for any tree and plant. And say I've planted 2 more. I don't think anybody can hold you for that. If you say, okay, the tree, if it's becoming an issue to my fence or this, you take it off. So people will always look for how to use this. So there's a need for more to be done in the pricing. Then in the issue of the how secure usage of, I've seen since early 2010 to date, a lot of people have switched to gas. And if you look at the accident rate, it's very, very low compared to the fears we used to have in the past.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if you're using it in an open space, it hardly explodes because this thing is light. Also, the reason why most time it explodes then is because you use it in a confined
environment.
And people are used to, even the kids now, they're used to switching it off. The fear in school, they are taught. So these are some of the things they need to do, create awareness and the rest of it. It is safe to use it, but the only thing, just like any other thing. Then my question, where is kerosene? When was the last time you saw kerosene with your eyes?
Long time ago. Yes, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Is there any place kerosene has been sold? Any police station that kerosene has been sold?
This particular question you asked, it really even skipped my mind.
You've never thought anything kerosene?
Yes.
Because I think you didn't mention kerosene while you were doing it.
Yeah. So that's a very good question.
Do you know that there was a
I think
time?
the last time I used kerosene was in 2013.
I can't remember when last.
Kerosene. Did they even like in this metropolis? Do we have where
you can buy kerosene?
at the time?
You may see. You may, if you go to Jalingo Market, you may see where they sell kerosene.
Okay, what
so it's not as popular as it used to be.
Now, is there any fueling station that still sell kerosene? Where you see yes, kero?
Between 2009 and 2013, I worked with this retail filling station in Yola, and anytime they have a kerosene product, you will see the kind of fights
For
But as time goes on, you realize that
The,
the
the-
kerosene will come,
come.
and the queue will not be there again.
Okay.
People will just drive in and buy.
I remember there's a filling station just close to my house then in Lagos. Then it was war getting kerosene there. But it got to a point, the kerosene meter is just by the side. It got to a point, the person selling the kerosene who used to be a
King,
boss, a
yes,
king,
yes.
now became, he will handle both the kerosene and the diesel because those. So now you are no longer. So that is
And
just.
maybe around school environment, is there are people that
Do
use
you-
stoves. So
Do
maybe
you think students will use? So they would rather
Yeah,
use
we have
charcoal.
use-
Gas.
yes,
They use
most
gas
of
or
them use
charcoal.
gas. Agreed,
Or
but we
charcoal.
have fuel like that. You
Maybe
can trace a number that are still using
that person must
kerosene.
be
Yeah.
an antiquated
So-
person.
Yeah.
Well, that is, you see, that is some things about life. Once upon a time, the prices of kerosene is a major discussion in Nigeria. I remember when Xenon oil, a true or $10, crashed the price of kerosene to 50 naira per liter. It became a major issue across Nigeria. The discussion that $10 crashed the price of kerosene. Xenon oil was selling for 50 naira per liter. So these are just some of the things that say that nothing is permanent. This gas we're talking about today, LPG, in some years to come, it may not.
Be that valuable again.
It may, we've forgotten about it. There are some lamps, kerosene lamps, stoves. They no longer exist.
They are already finding their way to museums.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's this stove we used to have that it used to be in the house of very big
Big
men.
one. Yeah.
Two this thing with a
burners,
bottle
in the middle.
in the middle
Yeah,
kerosene.
for kerosene.
Then the wool is not this long one, it's one that is round like this. That
Sure.
time you go to someone's kitchen,
Sure.
you see it there, you say, yes, this
This
person,
is
they
a good
cook
man.
two
burners like that.
two burners. So that is,
I think most of these stuffs now are only for historical purposes.
I
For,
think it's just
yeah,
for,
that.
when we go to the museum.
Yeah.
And when we were growing up, there's this thing we call gaslight.
That they
Gaslight,
pump.
they will pump in.
I think some Mesuya still have it.
Okay. I don't know.
People who sell at night, who sell things at night,
night.
also carry, they will pump and pump and pump. Then one of my duties as a young person that I didn't like doing was to clean the bulb of lantern.
Like that.
Because while cleaning it, any
break.
mistake,
It
it
will
will
break.
break.
But if you have not broken something like that before,
Then
that
you
means
are
you don't
not,
have the experience.
oh my goodness, the good old days. That's tomorrow's. Some people somewhere will be talking about laptops, the way we're talking about. They'll be talking about phones, the way we're talking about these things now. So nothing lasts forever. Let's go to Punch. Punch has it that alteration road. Tinubu insists on January 1 for new tax regime. It is the die has been cast as the President Bola Tinubu has insisted that the new tax laws will take effect on January 1, 2026 as planned. This was disclosed in a statement that he personally signed on Tuesday and issued by the State House. And this came as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party slammed the president, describing the move as hasty and insensitive amid ongoing controversies surround the alleged alterations to the legislation. The Punch reports that Tinubu on June 26, 2025 signed the 4 tax reform bills into law. This law includes the Nigerian Tax Act, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, the Nigerian Revenue Service Act, and the Joint Revenue Board Act. The Act comprehensive overall the Nigerian tax landscape. So as it is, the major issue on this is the alleged alterations and also the call by some people that it shouldn't take effect from January 1st. But the government have insisted, and according to a letter signed personally by the president himself, that the new tax law, including those that took effect on June 26, 2025, and the remaining acts scheduled to commence on January 1, 2026, will continue as planned. This reform has a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a fair, competitive, and robust fiscal foundation for our country. Now the die is cast. January 1st, tomorrow.
Yes, we remember when President Tinubu said subsidy is gone. It's this reminds us of that incident. It shows that the government is firm and is ready to make progressive decisions that they always describe as a long-term beneficial to the nation. All we're saying, or all I will say now is that we look forward to the implementation of the new tax reform, which is going to commence tomorrow, to be different from what we're experiencing from subsidy. Somehow the subsidy was removed. We are made to believe that it is going to be beneficial for the nation in the long run. But for now, somehow we're still feeling the pains, the sufferings that makes us believe that government is actually ill-prepared. It's not properly ready for implementation of such policies, since we don't have cautioning policies or arrangements that will make life bearable for Nigerians. It's a good policy. Yeah, experts that we believe and trust have explained to us that this is going to be beneficial for us as a nation. Believe them, but let it not be the same way that when policy, when subsidy is gone, announcement was made, and we suffered one or two things, and we're still suffering one or two things like that. So we wish the government well. We wish Nigeria well. Tomorrow we will start experiencing the new tax reform. I think there is a need for another awareness campaign to be done, considering how they said transfers henceforth and other transactions should be made, considering that if you don't do that, you fall victim of one thing or the other. So I think what is left now is for the proper awareness to be created, commencing tomorrow, so that Nigerians will get abreast with the new tax law.
Let me quote what the chairman presidential committee on tax reform, Taiwo Oyedele, said. He said, whenever anybody tells you something, ask him to quote the part of the law. Okay. You know, there are a lot of information out there about this, and I say you should always ask, quote the part of the law. And so you can know that, okay, it's quoting so this is that. We shouldn't accept just anything anybody writes as this and that. I should ask him to quote. Then also advise, for you to understand the difference, for you to appreciate this new law, go and read the whole. That if you read the whole tax law and you read the new one, you will now appreciate that they've moved. But that's his words. Is his words. When the time of implementation comes, we will know what is it. But one thing I know, there are a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a need to do more. And I think at this stage, they need the National Orientation Agency, even the Presidential Task Force on this need to do more. They can't do it alone. You need people across the state internal revenue boards who are beneficiaries of this. Like Taraba State, I know, based on information I have, they've sent some of their men for training on this new tax law. And I spoke to one of them. He said, well, they are on serious training on how to implement this in Taraba State, and there is no going back. And he can speak authoritatively on this now, simply because he's going through a form of certification. Now, if he gets that certification, he will be authorized to speak as an expert, but he can give opinion. But say for Taraba State, there is no going back. They are ready and they're happy with the law. So when I listen to that, I begin to say, it seems the states are happy about it, because the governors have not said anything about this. They've all been quiet. And you know, when governors are quiet, you know, there's something good coming their way.
Well, I believe that with my layman knowledge of how this thing works, I believe that the new tax reform will be beneficial for Nigerians in the long run, if not immediately. But until some of these little foxes are taken care of, Nigerians may end up crying in the first few months of the implementation, because I watched one video clip on social media of a pastor, I think he's based in Lagos. creating awareness for the members of his church on the tax reform, bit by bit like that. The point you just made this morning, that Oyedele said, whosoever is giving you an opinion or an explanation should cut from the law. I think that was skipped in that video clip. So I don't know whether, though I started sharing the video clip on some WhatsApp pages. Now what you just said now draw my attention to, could it be that I'm sharing the wrong information? You understand? So people need to know in clear terms, not just National Orientation Agency, not just Oyedele and his team, the churches, media organizations. It has to be a proper awareness thing. You understand?
And I want to, on the issue of the tax, when you look at it very well, we appreciate the government for the effort. And in generally, whatever the government is doing, since it's not on a personal basis, is aimed at the development of the nation. But we are in a time where we have a lot of issues, even from the Federal Executive and the National Assembly concerning this issue. But to some extent, we are beginning to, whether we like it or not, anything from tomorrow is going to take effect. And again, you see, that is to say there is a lot of gaps on the side of the masses, and proper orientation is not into place. We've seen in places via the social media where some key people, like the religious leaders and some other people, making comments that, you know, they have influence on their people. And if this thing is not properly informed, there's a way it's going to, there's one thing for you to pass a law, it's one thing for it to be implemented. And if it's not implemented in a simple way, it may tend to take effect in a rigid way. So we don't want it to reach such a level. So definitely there will be a huge orientation on the side of the stakeholders involved. And again, the energy that the president or the presidency use in pursuing this whole tax reform, which is arriving at a point that is almost at a time that is going to start. We need some energy on other things, just like the local government autonomy and the rest that we've been discussing a lot. We have other places that such energy should be put so that at least we'll see a lot of changes. Like right now, we mentioned that tax will be reformed and this will be beneficial to the people. At the long run, this money will be shared to state governors. If for the development of the nation, there's an increase maybe in a share formula to different states and the local government at well. If this thing is still coming directly to only the governor alone again, that he will be done to decide for the local government, we will still, if we're not careful, we're going to arrive at the same problem. The fuel subsidy has been removed. Yes, it is a good one because from the record we are hearing, money is coming to the government, but from physical thing that the eyes will see and appreciate those efforts are no longer there. The case of different states you go, you will not see development. Some states are developing because of this particular money coming in. While some states are still left behind.
Us not within our states.
We still at that. Some people have limited information, even on, okay, there are people, we know we are talking about Nigeria, it encompasses both the literate and the illiterate. There are people that don't even know, they cannot even go to news outlets or any other place to know a particular money that is being sent to the state. What they can do as citizens is just to witness the development physically. Like the case of Taraba, if you go now, you have a flyover, at least you will say that this governor does something like this. You don't even care how much is being sent to the governor to do this particular project.
What impacts that flyover will have?
I just said
rather
an example.
than build a road in the
metropolis. Still at that, at least somebody will say during the tenure of this and that, something like this is built. That is an illiterate person, that is what he knew as development at the time. So we need proactive measures when things are done. And again, director spoke about something very important. I also saw something like that online, and also a spiritual person also explaining things like that. That from now henceforth, when you want to make transfers, you need to give a valid reason of that particular transfer. If it is for wedding, you put it is for wedding. If it is for this, you put for this. And should in case we have limited knowledge about the constitution to some extent on the issue of the tax, what then we that some extent are literate, we have a lot of people that don't even know how to do this transfer. they usually go through some people to make those transfers to them, like the users of the POS and other places. So if this thing is happening because we lack more information or it is not in line, we have limited knowledge about the constitution, we cannot say actually whether it is actually wrong or it is right. We may have limited knowledge, but still that doesn't permit it to be wrong. We may have, do you understand where I'm going at? So if in case what this pastor, for example, according to the director, is explaining, it is actual, and we have limited knowledge on that, and we are caught in the trap, that means there's a lot of problem. Then we have this where that information, this orientation thing needs to come in very well, and it's not something that should just be in one place. If it is in the media outlet, it should also involve the religious bodies, so that churches also will play a role, the mosques and many other places that involve the gathering of people. And they should use a clear tone or a language. They should come to a language that an ordinary person in far distance Sokoto can understand very well, because this thing affects everybody. Thank you.
Now, there's this clarification that we need to make. There's one about a description.
Yes.
I listened to Mr. Taiwo Daily, and he even referred to a website, tax something, where you can calculate what. So there was this hypothetical question that was asked by the presenter on channels.
Okay.
He said, okay, if, for example, a welder use a name of someone earns 10,000 naira every day, and this 10,000 naira, he banks it every day. Let's say he works 6 days a week, and 6 times 4, 24. Multiply 10,000 by 24, that is 2.4 million.
Yeah.
So his account at the end of the month reads 2.4 million.
Yes.
Will he be taxed? Now, what he says is that no, he will not be taxed. This is income that comes in. Now, if the income does not have any, it just comes as income. What
Yes.
they do is they say, okay, this man, we assume he pays rent. He services business.
Yes.
He does this.
NEPA bills.
So, and they are, okay, for someone that's 2 million, at least, maybe, he said the benchmark may be 500,000 for rent. For his business, he pays salary, he buys fuel. He said at the end of the day, after there's this calculation that he does, that okay, for hospital bills, health, insurance, retirement plan, and the rest of it, they just do the calculation, then they arrive at, okay, at the end of the month, it's taxable income. Now, there's difference between income and taxable income.
Yes.
It is not every income that is taxable. It is after all calculations have been done that you arrive at taxable income. So it's for you to arrive at 800,000 naira that is not taxable. He said it doesn't even take someone to earn 2.4 million in a year. We have a taxable income of 800,000 after you remove all these necessary things. He said, so he may not even pay tax at the end of the day, because by the time they remove what he will pay for rent and this, he may not, he said, but he's not saying that is the case, but that would be the case. Then there's also the issue of if there's no description, they say, no, it is not all incomes without description will be taxable. Yeah. And if you are taxed, you still have an ombudsman that you can go to within 30 days to say, no, this is not what yes. I would do, and the rest of it. And he said something. He said, now, then if they don't agree, you can go to court. They say, now, will they now start going to court over because they want to collect 10,000 naira?
Yes.
So most time when you go to this arbitration, they just wave it off, because if you can provide evidence to the fact that this money came as gift, this came as this, even if you pay this, I pay school fees of my children, 200,000, so it is not tax. So he said these are some of the things that we don't know. Then there's also something, I said another misleading fact is that there's a threshold for income tax, e.g. some individuals earning below 800 million annually as FZ, but this applies to taxable income, not simply funds. So it is not every funds that enter your account that is taxable. It is only taxable funds to the tune of 800,000 naira. Yeah. If you're a salary earner and you earn 100,000 a month, At the end of the year, 1.2 million.
You're taxable.
Now they will say, okay, you have a pension scheme, you have inside that there is housing, you pay rent. By the time they remove all those, your taxable income may be just be 300,000 naira, so you will not be taxed. He says, so what this does is that it brings in more of the rich people into the net, but it leaves more of. He said, now if you want to know, it's because it's not being implemented. The old tax law does not put this into consideration. He said, but it wasn't being implemented. So these are just some of the things that we need to know. In the beginning, they say 800,000, you will just know 800,000, whether with description or not, you don't just get taxed automatically. That is.
All right, still at that, all we are trying to say is, from the way you are explaining things here, it needs also a very huge orientation. If you have people or a means that an ordinary Nigerian staying in Bayam, the one in Bali and other places can be able to get this information in its real form, the way you are saying it now, maybe via radio station, the TV station like this, and many other places, it will make it very, very easy. Because what Nigeria is afraid of is the fear now.
Let me say something.
Yes.
You go to the village now, you will find people talking about if money enter your account, they will tax it. What channels do we use? We send these things ourselves. Why is it that we find it easier to send those unverified information? So it still goes back to even we as individuals to be sure of information we share. I've shared verified information on this tax on a platform of highly educated Tarabans. They refuse to accept that.
Okay.
They believe was no source, nothing someone shared. Do you know what I did for that?
No.
I spoke to a tax expert that this is the discussion we're having on this platform over this, over that. The tax expert was outside of the country on a training in Canada, and he said he would like to be part, to come and educate people on that platform. He's on course, and we added him to the platform. He said anybody with questions should ask. They asked question. He gave all the explanation, quoting the DC. Do you know, majority of the people refused to believe. And someone said he will not believe the tax expert, he will not believe anything because he doesn't trust the government. How do you help such a situation?
And even if you trust the government,
well, I said, he said he is a tax, he has studied it. As a matter of fact, he's going through some processes.
At the end of everything, for him to trust or not,
he says, so what you need, what you trust is what someone just posted, but you don't trust. He said, you don't trust the government. Trust me. It's just like I'm a medical doctor. I'm telling you, this is it. And you say no.
Such a person cannot be helped. So,
and such a person was the one sharing.
I don't really get the picture now. There are two different things in this thing this particular person is saying. Is it that he don't trust the government because after everything, the money that is going to be sourced from this means is not going to be used? Or he don't trust the government?
He doesn't trust any information that is positive about this.
It is left for him as a person. All we are saying is, we don't let the impact of this particular thing be positive on the life of people. That's all.
At the end of the day, after the tax person spoke, majority of people did not agree with him. They did not accept what they say. They held on to their belief. Whether I was right or wrong, they don't care. And these are not villagers. These are professionals. And I said, that means in your own profession, when you're having a discussion with someone and the person refused to take your professional advice, what will you take? He said, no, this is politics. I said, well, if it is politics, let's have a good day. And I think we are the ones, the educated ones, that share these narratives, whether right or wrong.
And you may be surprised that, well, it's too early for us to say whether, I think what the person is saying is that maybe the experts may be wrong. I think that's his fear. Yes. Because if at the end of the day, if the experts that spoke with him on that platform turns out to be right, he will have no option
Than to-
come back and accept what they, because no, he will be operating at
And now, where did he get his own information from?
And then, you know, everybody is a
your
system.
popular opinion at
Yes,
times has a way of
Everybody-
that
just that we-
is why I said government will have to come out. There's something that is missing out as we speak. Oyedele and his team has not created the requisite awareness for the implementation.
I'm telling you.
And
let me tell you something.
Yes,
There
sir.
is no day you don't see information.
Son,
The problem is that we have refused to share those information. Every day you see on different platforms. I see it. I see snapshots.
Yeah.
If you go to a platform, one person may share that. Then that's misleading of if 800,
Yeah.
you will see 20
people will share it. And that's why we said clearly, if you are going through everything we're discussing here, it reached a level where in Nigeria, when something is passed, more importantly, coming from the side of government, be it at state, local government, or a federal level, people don't easily accept anything good that even come from the government side. So now, the issue of the way insecurity is being tackled, to some extent, is restoring back hope. We expect that when the tax laws it's starting tomorrow, when we start seeing dividend, I believe Nigeria are kind of people that are emotional to some extent, with sentiment a lot. So when there is a positive impact, it will be very easy for them to just swap from that former way of thinking.
I will also
And also people that are sharing informations that are not valuable, that are not authentic, they should also know that they are contributing to the problem. In case they think the government has problem, they're contributing
they
to it.
contribute to it. You don't share what has no source, what you can't verify. You share it and you stand by it. For example, I've seen someone said Remita belongs to someone named Remy. And people share this and they believe. I've seen someone come out and said that the results of social election in one polling unit in 2015 is exactly the same result of 2019, is exactly the same result of and they checked official figures.
Yes.
And it was completely different. And he stood by it. And last month someone still quoted that thing, and I showed him. He said no, that it seems they just went to change the. I said this is Punch 2015 record. This is this. He said no, that maybe the. I say, see, you deliberately misled
Many people.
yourself. You know, when about 4 of us were having discussion, we showed him all the records, went to this thing, brought out INEC, brought out the newspaper, and he said no. He believed that one person that gave him that wrong information. So we need to start processing information, right? Because it is out of us that the leaders will come. If you have this mindset, it is out. That is why you find out that they will tell you that the leadership is a reflection of the society. And I tell you, it is very, very true about Nigeria. Look at our religious leadership. It's a reflection of our society. I'm sorry to say this, most of our religious organizations have very, very rich leadership and poor followership.
You said something.
The government is the same thing. Someone becomes a chairman today, all of a sudden it becomes very rich. Someone becomes the head of a church today, all of a sudden he becomes very rich. Make someone the head of your family today, all of a sudden he sells all the land.
The lands of the family. And you said something very important. I want to also speak out to the people that are listening to our voice this morning again. You see, when you realize that you are an influence and that people listen to you, be it on religious ground or in other places. You know, we live in a country where people easily believe the spiritual fathers, believe key position leaders or organizational leaders. So when you find out that people are listening to your voice, there are people that when they talk, for example, as a Christian, I have a bishop in my church or any other person. Whenever this bishop says something, even if it is not properly, informed or he is misinformed, his followers easily believe him more than what will actually come from the real source. The president can say something, but a particular head of an organization, be it a pastor, so which says his own, but his followers will believe their pastor more than the actual person. So in such a situation, we are calling on all people involved in 102 that have power, influences, and the rest to please, if they really want to help this society grow, if they really want to see the positive change they claim or they preach on their altars, they have to align with the government whenever they see sincerity in the government. And then they should know it is not a bad thing for a pastor to come out and say, I don't know this, bring an expert even to the altar to explain things to people.
And I think, just like you said, there is a law against fake news. You understand? If you share fake information on social media or any other platform, there is a way that you should be penalized. If you are a bishop of your church and you give the members of your flock wrong information, so much so that...
And it may be out of genuine love, not that you just don't have that information.
It's not as if you're doing it because you hate them.
You hate the person.
It's because maybe you're too much of sentiment, that you believe that the information you're sharing is for the benefit of the people. And there is a need for enforcement procedures so that if one or two people are penalized as a result of somebody, it will be deterrent for other people.
You see, like you said, we saw a clip of a particular revered man of God on the other sect of religion saying that if any of these people at the National Assembly allow the president to pass this thing into effect, that any moment they comes back home, they are going to stone them. So you imagine this kind of statement, and you know how impactful that word would be on the side of his followers. Before you understand now, we've seen in the record clip of a particular constituency, people beating their National Assembly member. So if this thing is continuing, there will be a huge problem.
And that is why you see some that even believe in it, but because of what you see some information that maybe I believe in it, but my constituents have been made to believe that it's against me. It's just like the issue of this insecurity, the collaboration with America. Some people find it hard to speak out simply because their constituents have been made to believe that America is coming to rob us of our this. Then I've seen a situation again whereby I tell myself any information I hear, irrespective of who the person is, I process it, and if I feel this information is wrong, I tell myself, I respect this person, this information is wrong. There was a time someone I respect so much, a spiritual father, said something. He said, before the end of this year, $1 will be the same to a naira. I looked at it, checked all economies all over the world. And at that time, it was between 1,000 something rising
upward.
I knew there is nothing, absolutely.
You don't believe in miracle?
There is miracle, but there's process. Miracles happens to things that human efforts.
I put in.
Somebody said
miracle is not meant for. It's meant for the things that all human efforts have failed.
Somebody was narrating to me.
See, it's impossible.
Somebody was narrating to me a story. She was in a church when somebody came and gave thanksgiving of how she wanted to withdraw. She has 5,000 naira in the account and went to withdraw the 5,000 naira. And the problem that she went with to the bank to withdraw money is 10,000. Somehow she left the bank with 10,000 naira.
How?
Now she came to the church and offered it as a thanksgiving, and everybody jubilated. There is a banker in the church that stood up and told the pastor, "This is a mistake. I work in a bank. I know that this thing you're saying, somebody is paying this extra 5,000 already in the bank.
Yes.
Go back to the bank. Refund that money. This one is not Thanksgiving." Everybody became angry.
But that's the truth. There are some miracles, but we've seen time where people will now, you see testimonies online that somebody will just say, pick your phone, miracle alert will come in, and before you get to understand, people will start claiming. And so that's another problem. Maybe some people are working with the POS inside the church collecting
once you collect your phone number.
You know, it's in the church. You can decide to go through the children to get the father's account number. Then any moment things start like this, you start sending money into the account. That is why we should be more careful with this.
With this electronic transfer, you can trace it.
Yes.
You can trace it.
If you receive a miracle alert you can trace the signature. Where did it come from?
the Bank of Jesus in heaven. And so
You got us all.
Let's go for a short break. Shortly, then we'll come back to Taraba News. I'm checking my phone for some miracle alerts. Africa, a land of roots, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story,
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
and every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. At Some TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us.
To the future we proudly define.
Some TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Some TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of roots, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story,
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
and every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. At Some TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us.
To the future we proudly define.
Some TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Some TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of roots, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story,
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
and every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. At Some TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us.
To the future we proudly define.
Some TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Some TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of roots, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story,
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
and every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. At Some TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us.
To the future we proudly define.
Some TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Some TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of roots, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story,
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
and every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. At Some TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us.
To the future we proudly define.
Some TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Some TV, cause of the nation.
Every day begins with a need to move with purpose, to shop without stress, to send without fear, to pay without delay. For every rider chasing time, for every home that needs restocking, for every voice that needs connection, for every dream that needs delivery. Now, one app brings it all together.
Supercab, move smart, ride safe, supermarket, groceries, gadgets, everything. Supercash, airtime, bills, transfers, done. Super logistics, fast, secure, right to your door.
It's more than an app. It's your movement, your market, your money, your connection, all in one place. Supergo, one app for services endless. Download Supergo today. Live free, live fast, live smart.
No time to shop, no stress. With Supergo, your groceries comes to you. We partner with trusted vendors, verified stores, no delay, no excuses, just values. Supergo Supermarket, your market now in your hands. With Supergo, your ride is comfortable, easy, and convenient. Supergo is more than an app. It's a movement, moving people, powering threats, delivering value.
Welcome back to the morning show on Some TV. We're still here, myself, Abraham Manajoda, Mr. Radane Kukwen, and Albert Naftali Bello. We're still here on the morning show. And quickly, we'll go to Taraba News. Let me just go through the headlines. Then we'll just do one or two stories on it. We have Prince Adi Kinda Shekarau Musa Ibi declares 2027 ambition for Wukari Ibi Federal Constituency. That is Prince Adi Kinda Shekarau Musa Ibi has declared his intention for Wukari Ibi Federal Constituency. And again, ADC unveiled party office in Tako, pledges to rescue and rebuild Taraba at build up to 2027. Also inside, Taraba State Health Services Board invites application for health sector jobs. I think this is a good one because there are a lot of people with red head, public health, a lot of health institutions in Taraba State, and we have a lot of people. They should be able to take in for the job. And Chief Dr. Bulus Miyaki pledged for indigenous vice chancellor as Federal University of Wukari lecturers pay courtesy visits. Then this is story here. Some TV honors 6th Brigade Commander with award of excellence in Jalingo. Then at the political scene, Honorable Dr. Tafarki Agbadu Eneme, Honorable Mose Luka defects to APC in Kurmi as Taraba political realignment deepens. Then Reverend Victor Audu assumes office as National General Secretary of RCCN. So those are the major stories. Let us see. Let me see. This story interests me. Honorable Dr. Tafarki Agbadu Eneme, Honorable Mose Luka defects to APC in Kurmi as Taraba political realignment deepens. I used to hear on political and social media, they said Kurmi and Zing said PDP is their DNA. So, and it's one of those places where PDP has very, very deep this thing. Now we are seeing a member moving to the APC. Are we saying that the DNA of, or his political DNA?
Yes, political DNA change. You don't know? In Nigeria, political DNA change. Defection is not a crime in Nigeria. So for somebody to say his DNA is tied to a particular political party is just political language. Somebody was saying on news yesterday that a particular politician, whatever affects that politician affects him. His pain, that he feels the pain of what happened to the politician more than the politician himself. So some of these statements are political statements that will not be taken seriously. Shortly after, he will tell you they fall out and this and that and this and that. So,
Well, is it strange to you that there's people before
I've said it very clearly, and any office holder within the state that is going to the meetings and all the engagements of the PDP and the people that we are seeing in some of their meetings, they are still relevant party and
they
contemporary.
are still relevant.
So and you mentioned in terms of Zin and Kurmi, because the members of assembly and other key person has shifted his position to the other party, that doesn't limit that they are still rooted in the PDP, or that doesn't limit that. And for the issue of the DNA, it is more of this is politics.
Yeah.
Everyone is going there to get what he wants to achieve at the time. So if your alignment is where you get your food to eat is now more of the APC, so you'll be seeing them going to the APC. But there will be a lot of the insight or from forecasting. You will see that there will be a lot of betrayals.
Definitely.
There will be a lot of betrayals when it has to do with be relaxed because they are recording a huge number of people. We've been seeing ADC that is coming newly recording almost 40 something. The women very well, where women should select key people that will represent them and they are going to give them backup. So most of the sensitive parties, major parties, sorry, because every party is sensitive, the major parties like the ADC, the PDP and the APC, and likewise we believe Labour parties too will still come in, and then SDP again, because we have issues where the SDP are still in court with one of their members that left. And so we have a lot. So on my own side, APC should sit back and be careful with even the people that are coming to their party.
Thank you very much. I keep saying it. If the PDP at the national level are able to put their acts together, PDP in Taraba State is going to pull a lot of surprise.
True.
The only thing that may deny the PDP in Taraba State strength in it is if there's no clarity of leadership at the national level. If people are not sure of their mandate. Because as long as people are sure of their mandate, the PDP will still pull grassroots support in Taraba. That I'm very sure. It's either it's going to get members, it's going to win some seats, and if they feel the right candidate, it's going to be the party to beat even at the state level. So that is just what it is. You just don't wipe out the DNA in one election cycle. It takes some time to do that. It's just like going to a state like Lagos State now. If someone moves to APC today, the APC DNA of Lagos State is still there. There are people who they have become part. They wouldn't leave. Same thing with PDP. So that is, and the moment some people leave, it creates space for more people to come in. So that is just it. Well, I think this is where we'll round up for today. You can get a copy of Taraba News. You can get a soft copy for 500 naira. Then also online, you can get the hard copies, the soft copy for free online. Why you can get the hard copy for 500 naira at Taraba Business School to read this interesting story. So this is where we round up for today's edition of the Morning Show. Thank you very much, everyone, and Happy New Year in advance to you.
Same to you.
So Happy New Year in advance to our viewers out there. This is the last morning show for the year 2025. We will see you next year, 2026. I am Abraham Ainajoda. Good morning.